Wow, it's been a long time since I've done a video, but for good reasons. There's been a lot of life changes, a lot of responsibility changes, job changes, everything, and it's just been really hard for me to find time and the focus to sit down and share my thoughts with you. It's surprisingly so shocking to just go from a go 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 type of everyday normal work week to finding free time to sit down and breathe and let the thoughts out. But I just feel happy doing this, excited to be doing this. I feel most myself when I'm sharing all these thoughts, and I really do put a lot of thought and a lot of love into these topics. I love these topics. So, the fall of Mars. So, I want to preface this by saying that the fall of Mars is an astrological concept. But as I'm explaining this, I'm going to try my best not to so focus that the fact that it is astrology, but kind of take the idea that it's giving us and kind of translate it into something that we can reference in our everyday life, in the everyday life when we're exercising Mars. And so I'm gonna stop being vague and I'm gonna start being specific here, and I'm gonna explain to you what all that means. So let's start by saying that there is a 50% chance that someone is in the fall of Mars, and then the other 50% chance that someone is in the rise of Mars. And as someone that kind of is a freak, kind of like me, I'm a little bit of a nerd about this. It's so interesting to me to see which Mars somebody is in. Just because Mars is how we go after our goals and how we become better people, and all about becoming better. It's all about the doing that we're doing. It's all about the learning. It's all about the accomplishing and the transformation type of stuff. And so it's almost like that's what the everyday should be about. And so anyway, so in astrology, Mars is debilitated. So let's start with the weakest. Debilitated means to make weakest. So I'm going to start at the weakest, and then I'm going to go to the strongest. So in astrology, Mars is debilitated in the zodiac sign of Cancer. Mars is made weakest by being in the zodiac sign of Cancer. Cancer, so I explained what Mars is. So Mars is the planet of ambition, anger, drive, assertion, standing up for yourself, perseverance, courage, and it can also be just your general energy level, your vigor, even your sexual expression, your sexual energy, that type of energy from within that we can give to another, and that we can give an expression of ourselves, if this is making sense. So in Cancer, so Mars made weakest by Cancer is the zodiac sign of comfort, emotions, the home, sensitivity, family, being reserved and being protected, and the comfort of routine, of what it knows. So basically, this is translating to our progression, our ability, our achievements, our ability to achieve, or the focus is made weak by things like the same routine, letting family, protection, and comfort stop you from new things that could lead to your success, letting your emotions decide or stop your grind. That's a big deal that I'm going to bring up later. Being reserved and closed-minded to new ideas and people that can help you get closer to change and achievement, and never leaving your home or what you have always known. So, as I say this, as I kind of translate this, maybe this is all sounding pretty obvious, that you wouldn't need to know, that this is what astrology, you wouldn't need to know this to sound oh, this sounds super bad, but I'm telling you that some people don't know, or some people don't recognize that them letting these things get the best of them when they're trying to be their best self or when they're trying to accomplish things is the debilitation of their exercise, of their grind, of their journey, you know? So the reason I love this so much is because astrology explicitly is telling us what is the weakest way to go about things. So if we know that, so the additional weaknesses, so this is number 1, so that means that there's 5 more, because in astrology there's 12 signs anyway. So there's also Mars is made weak by being in Taurus, Leo, Libra, Gemini, and Virgo. And I'm going to list all of this down in the description, but let's go over these real quick. So Mars is also made weak. It's not debilitated, it's not the worst, but it's also made weak in Taurus, which is being stubborn, being a know-it-all, staying in the same routine, doing what's comfortable, having vices, which is like alcohol, socializing, being in a romantic relationship, being deliberate when making decisions and being slow. Like being deliberate, I mean, is by being like overly calculated while making decisions. Also made weak in Leo, which Leo is self-indulgent, like hedonistic, pouty, insecure. Leo also has vices, maybe in like the good things in life, like the shiny stuff, the assets, having a lot of money, spending a lot of money to be self-indulgent, to make yourself feel good. And last one, also they're impatient. They want to like be the best at something first try, basically. And if they're not, it makes them insecure and they no longer want to try to get better at it. There's other fire signs rather than Leo that do this job better, because there's other signs that, they could not be good at something first try, but that kind of inspires them to want to be their best at it. But Leo is a very pouty sign. So next, Mars is made weak in Libra. Libra is a people pleaser. Libra is also hedonistic, where they just like to maybe have their assets. Their vices, Libra is an air sign. They're social, so they might self-indulge in their relationships as a distraction to them, like not being responsible, them not being where they want to be in life. They might self-indulge in like romantic relationships and just push all their responsibilities to the side, type of thing is what I notice with Libra Mars a lot. They're perfectionists and they're indecisive. So being a perfectionist when you're trying to accomplish your goals is going to stop you. It should always be progress over perfection. But being a perfectionist definitely will slow you down when you're trying to accomplish your goals. And indecisive, I don't know if I already said that, but being indecisive and being like slow, you can't be a jack of all trades because you're going to be a master of none. This is like a problem with Libra Mars very much. So Gemini Mars, kind of similar because it's also an air sign. So Gemini is anxious. They are scatterbrained, they're flighty, and they're inconsistent with their goals. So the same thing with like the indecisive thing is like if you can't focus on one thing to put all your effort into, maybe you'll be a jack of all trades, but the master of none. You're not going to have one big great thing that you've accomplished, but you're going maybe to accomplish all these small things, but really for what, So Gemini Mars, not good. Virgo, and the last is Virgo. Virgo is detail-oriented. Virgo is also a perfectionist, and Virgo is deliberate, like the Taurus Mars is, so they like to be slow and think about all their decisions. And I will also say that Virgo is very anxious. like the Gemini Mars is, because they are perfectionists, but they're also like both mutable signs. So mutable means that they are the thinkers of the zodiac. So they're just thinking about all of the things that could go wrong, thinking about all the things that they could do for this to be perfect, or all the things that could go wrong, or all the things that they've done wrong already, or all of the reasons to not go about and try to do something, or what if I don't fit in, and all this stuff. Sort of that Taurus does. But Taurus is also just like slow, the know it all type of thing. So all of these things, astrology blatantly states out that if your Mars is in one of these signs, your ability to go after things in life is made weak. You have some obstacles, and maybe knowingly or unknowingly. So literally, as I'm talking to you, like go online. I like using Cafe Astrology. I'm gonna put all this in the description. Like, go and figure out what sign your Mars is in, because you could be in your fall, you could be in your rise. So if you're in your fall, and you're aware that you're in your fall, and you know then the way that you are in your fall, you can actively avoid that. Actively avoid acting like that. So personally, I am in the debilitation of Mars. My Mars is in Cancer, so I have the worst Mars. But to be knowledgeable, so if I know that like I said that I would get back to later, the part where I said Mars in Cancer, letting my emotions decide or stop my grind. So that is very accurate. I would say some of the other stuff on here is sort of accurate, but mainly the emotional one thing, and the routine thing, because the routines truly make up a person. So this is all personal, right? So it's like if I have a routine, I find it very hard to like break my routine, and it's like I never open my eyes and realize that a routine is like hurting me in some way, because Cancer is like a sufferer. It likes to wallow in its emotions, or it just likes to like hold it all in sort of thing, and it doesn't act out, or it doesn't lash out to try to change. It just tries to adapt, like a water sign, you know? So personally, I read about this, that I was in the fall of Mars this way, and then so I did some self-reflection, and I kind of like wrote down all of the routines that I might have had in my everyday life, and I decided to purposely like go out of my way to change my routine and try to improve it. So this could be like where I changed my hair routine, or I changed my like routine of like how I would meet new people, and if I would have like a mask on or not. Like change my routine, like how I interacted with others, you know? Change my bedtime routine, change my routine of how I went about feeling angry with others. Like, you have a routine in your life for literally everything. Literally a routine, a way that you fall back on doing things. And if you could, like, one by one actively try to change these little things, your life is going to change. Atomic Habits is a really good book. Not to go too off topic, but yeah. And secondly, letting my emotions decide or stop if I do something. I'm so terrible about this. I'm awful about this. Like, if I've had a bad day, or if I've had an argument with like someone, and I feel like emotional about it, like it'll be like, well, I'm sad, so I can't go to the gym today like I planned to. I'm just gonna come home and like cry in my bed. You know, even though I had been so serious with myself the night before to be like, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna get the body that I want and it's gonna be great. And then suddenly someone like blows on me, or like, you know, like hurts me, and I'm in a horrible state. You know, letting your emotions get the best of you. Astrology says this is the debilitation of your exercise of Mars. You're being debilitated. Astrology is saying, don't let your emotions decide or stop you. Break away from your routines. Don't let your family stop you from doing new things or leaving the home, leaving what's comfortable. Astrology is saying, do not be a know-it-all. Do not be stubborn. Don't fall into having vices. Don't be deliberate. Don't be slow. Don't be an overthinker when it comes to things. Don't be a perfectionist. Progress over perfection, right? Don't be people-pleasing. Stop being anxious. Stop being scatterbrained. Have some focus and have some attachment to your goals so you can be a master of one. This is the summary of all of this. But astrology is saying to you so bluntly, right? It's saying what not to do. So that's the fall of Mars. Love this topic. So now we can go into the rise of Mars, which there's a 50% chance that you might be in your rise. So we went over the debilitation of Mars, which is Cancer, the zodiac sign of Cancer, which is mine. My Mars is in Cancer. I have a Cancer Mars. So here's our next statement. In astrology, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So exalted means made the strongest. Okay, so what is Capricorn the zodiac sign of? Practicality, discipline, focus, ambition. They're organized and they're overzealous. So when a Capricorn is in the exercise of Mars, they have an approach that is practical and reasonable, right? They're self-disciplined. They're focused on their goals. They're very ambitious because they want to be the best, sort of. They're very organized in the way they go about it, and they're kind of like workaholics. They're overzealous. They work so hard and they might stretch themselves thin for the sake that they are going to accomplish everything they want, especially for how people are going to view them and the stages in life that they can get to, sort of because they are indirectly, they're ruled by Saturn. So I always think like Capricorn is like very similar to Leo, but in a different way. But I'm not going to go into that right now. Anyway, so astrology is saying so bluntly that your Mars is made strongest by things like this. So if you've ever had like self-doubt in the way that you're going about your goals, or what would be the best way for me to accomplish my goals, astrology is saying be practical about your goals. Be disciplined about your goals, right? Don't falter. Don't be like flighty. Don't have some rules for yourself, right? If you're saying, I'm going to stop eating food that's bad for me, astrology is saying, well, you have to be self-disciplined. You can't let yourself go eat sugary foods just because like, oh, I have no self-control. No. Astrology is saying that your exaltation in your exercise of Mars is going to be self-disciplined. You're going to have to be focused. You're going to have to be ambition, saying that you love the goal that you're working towards. It's in your being, right? You're going to have to be organized. You're going to have a set plan that you've thought of how to accomplish your goals, right? Capricorn is an earth sign. It's very thoughtful. It's very grounded. It didn't make this plan like overnight. And lastly, it's kind of like you have to be 100% into your goal. Overzealous. Like, I feel like workaholic might be like a bad term, but it's like you really have to be into this. You really have to love what you're doing. You have to like dive deep into this. That is your exaltation. So that's Capricorn, right? But now, of course, there's 5 additional strengths. So Aries, Scorpio, Aquarius, Sagittarius, and Pisces. By the way, those are in no specific order. Anyway, so Aries. So Mars is made strong in Aries. Aries is courageous, bold, brave. It's direct, it's energetic, it's a doer, and it's impulsive. So when you're in your exercise of Mars, you're going to have to be brave, right? Bold, brave. You're going to be like direct in your communication. You're going to have energy that's just flowing out of you, and like a love to do what you're about to do, right? Aries is a doer. It doesn't sit around and wait. It wants to get up now and do it. It doesn't like let anything stop it. And Aries is impulsive. It doesn't sit around waiting and thinking about the best time to make a move, right? It just has so much energy and it has so much love for what it wants to accomplish that it doesn't have time to think. There's just so much coming up out of Aries for its goals. So next, Scorpio. Scorpio is a transformative sign. So becoming better and becoming different is what Scorpio is literally all about. Scorpio is like calm and like brooding and like emotional, but all in a way to just like transform and to be like its highest self type of thing. Scorpio is very focused, very bold, right, too, and independent. It's almost like Scorpio is like secretive and kind of like a quiet, like it moves in silence type of thing. Very independent sign. So next, Aquarius. Aquarius is inventive, creative, humanitarian, and detached. Sort of like the independence thing. But more so it's like independent, but it's also like it does not let its emotions ever get the best of them. Like they're so focused on what they're needing to do that they just move like that, and they're inventive and creative in the ways that they're going to accomplish things, right? And they're humanitarian in the way that they do so. So in the way that they go about their goals, it's like they always have like the greater good, the greater cause, or like the big picture or the big reasoning of why they're going after this. So if Aquarius has so much reason to accomplish their goals, so much love, oh, like it's for my family and it's for myself to feel confident, then that's what pushes them. So that's something that Capricorn maybe doesn't have, what I say. And the next, Sagittarius, is curious, optimistic, friendly, and honest with themselves. The optimistic, all of this is a really big thing when you're trying to accomplish your goals. If you want to be a better person, you're going to have to be curious about the ways that you're going to become that person. You're going to have to be friendly, where Sagittarius isn't jealous of the people that are better than them. They want to be like the people that are better than them, and they're charismatic and they can get connections, like when they're going about climbing the ladder type of thing. They're very optimistic, and they're honest with themselves and how they're going about this, how they're going to go about this. I really like a Sagittarius Mars. And lastly, Pisces. Pisces is a dreamer. Pisces is a water sign, so it's very adaptable. It's forgiving and it's intuitive. So also a great Mars, because I love the idea that astrology is saying that Mars is exalted. Mars is strong when you are a dreamer. When you are a little bit unrealistic. It is strong when you are forgiving of others and when you are forgiving of yourself for making mistakes. And Mars is also strong when you're intuitive too of your own limits, right? Like Pisces is like this doer and this dreamer that's also has such a good hold on what they're feeling. So I like Pisces Mars a lot too. But yeah. So again, like I said, like maybe all of this sounds obvious, but to some people it's not. So if you take what I say, right, and then you take what I say, kind of memorize it, and then go about your everyday life. And if you ever have self-doubt, and you're like, is the way that I'm going about life correct? Am I in my exhaustion right now? Like when you're at work, you should be like, am I doing this the best way that I could? Well, what does astrology have to say about it? Or am I going about this in a bad way? Well, what does astrology have to say about it? What does astrology say that you should avoid acting like? Or then what you should strive to be when you're in your exercise? And so I don't really know if so that's really it. That's really all I have to say. Like, I don't know if I sound crazy for saying all this, but this is like really kind of just changed the way that like I go about things, where I can recognize, oop, I'm doing this wrong. I'm deciding to be in my fall when I could be in my rise, you know? So it's just nice to know so explicitly um how you should be going about things. Be courageous, be bold, be brave, be direct. Have energy and love. Don't wait around to make a plan and maybe make a decision. Like, be impulsive and do it now. Be focused. You have to be comfortable being independent. You should be creative and inventive with the ways you're going to do this and not let anything stop you. You're gonna have to be optimistic and not jealous. Be friendly, and be curious how to get where you want to be. And most importantly, be a dreamer and be forgiving of yourself when you're going about things. And you will accomplish. You will be in your exhaustion. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. I'm going to include any information that you might need in the description for your own research. I hope you've found it as interesting as I do. Bye.